So this video is on finding the equation of a circle when we are given 3 points. So the property that we are going to use for this calculation is the fact that the perpendicular bisector of a chord goes through the center. So what does it mean now? Okay, so we are given 3 points, A, B, and C. We can draw a chord between a pair of points. So we can draw a chord. Remember, a chord is like cutting off a piece of the circle. So we can draw a chord between A and B, and we can draw a chord between B and C. So if we now have to find the perpendicular bisector. So remember, there's a video on how to calculate the perpendicular bisector, but essentially what we have to do is we have to find the midpoint here between A and B. We have to find the slope between A and B. From that, we can calculate the perpendicular slope here, the perpendicular slope. So now between this point, the midpoint, and the perpendicular slope, we can calculate the equation of this line. So we will repeat that for the second set of points, B, C. Again, calculate the perpendicular bisector. Remember, it is midpoint, slope, perpendicular slope, equation of the line. And then we get this equation of this line. And where the two intersect, we're going to need simultaneous equations for that, is the center. Once we have the center, we can calculate the radius. Remember, the radius is, we use the distance between 2 points formula. And once we have the center and the radius, we can write the equation of this circle. So let's look at an example. So we have the points A, 1, 2, B, 0, -2, and C, 4, -3. I'm going to write that into an coordinate system. So the first one is 1, 2, 1, 2, which is A. Then we have 0, -2, 0, -2, which is B. And then we have 4, -3, which is C. So we have to get the equation of a circle that fits in these 3 points. So it's kind of hard to see at the moment, but we will get the equation of a circle that goes through all 3 points. So I'm going to divide my screen for the two calculations. So the first is the calculation between A and B. And the second is the calc, so that would be this chord. Oops. This chord. And the second one would be the calculation between these 2 points, so this chord. Okay, so that is B and C, and this is A and B. A and B. Okay, so remember, we start midpoint, slope, perpendicular slope, and then equation of line. Okay, so these are our steps. So let's start with 1. Okay, so we will label, let's call this x1, y1, x2, y2, and we calculate our midpoint. So that would be 0, 0, plus 1 over 2, and then we have minus 2 plus 2 over 2. So that would be 1/2. Minus 2 plus 2 is 0. So 1/2, 0. Yeah, that midpoint would be about here. So now the next calculation is the slope. We use our x1, y1 again. 2. So that would be 2 minus minus 2. 2 minus minus 2 over 1 minus 0. 1 minus 0. So 2 minus minus 2 is 2 plus 2, which is 4 over 1, and the slope is 4. So that, yeah, we can see that 1 over 4 up. That's correct. The third calculation is the perpendicular slope. So the perpendicular slope, it is just, we flip and we change the sign. So that becomes minus 1 over 4. So now between this point, the midpoint, and this slope, we get the equation of the line. We use our normal equation of the line formula. So we go y minus 0 equals minus 1 over 4 x minus 1/2. So we can drop the 0. Y equals minus 1 over 4 x minus 1/2, and I multiply by 4 y, and then I multiply out the bracket. So that what we are left is minus 1 times x, it's minus x, and minus 1 times minus 1/2, that makes it plus 1/2. So I want to get rid of the 2, so I multiply the whole thing by 2, everything by 2, so 8y equals minus 2x plus 1. And then I bring the 2x over, so we leave it at that. I bring the 2x over, so I'm left with 2x plus 8y equals 1. So that would not be the normal form for the equation of the line, but it'll be easier than when we'll do simultaneous equations. So this is what we then use for the simultaneous equation part. Okay, now we will repeat this with the point BC now. So just to show you what we've just done, we found the midpoint, and then we calculated the equation of the perpendicular bisector. So let me see, can I draw that a wee bit better? Okay, so I'm going to repeat that now for the green part, the B and the C. Okay, so again we start with the midpoint between B and C now. Okay, so 0 plus 4 over 2 and minus 2 minus 3 over 2. So that gives us 4 over 2 is 2 and minus 5 over 2. We can leave it like that. So let's see, is that true? Yeah, so the midpoint is here. So we will find the slope between those 2 points. Let me give you here. So x1, y1, we call this now x2, y2. Okay. The slope. So we go minus 3 minus minus 2 over 4 minus 0. So that minus 3 minus minus 2 is minus 3 plus 2, which gives me minus 1. 4 minus 0, 4. So that is the slope, and as we can see, yeah, that's true, we go 4 over and 1 down. The perpendicular slope is, we flip and we change the sign, so that gives us 4. So we'll now take this midpoint and this slope to find the equation of the line. So we go y minus 5 over 2 equals 4x minus 2. Multiply this out, first of all we change this to y 5 over 2, and then I multiply out the bracket, which is 4 minus 8. Okay, I multiply by 2 to get rid of the fraction, so that gives me 2y plus 5 equals 8x minus 16. And now I bring the 8x to the left and the 5 to the right, so I have minus 8x plus 2y equals minus 16 minus 5 minus 21. Okay. So again, it's not the normal form for the equation, but it'll make it easier now for the simultaneous equations. So we have two equations now, this one and this one. Let's write them on top of each other. So we have 2x plus 8y, sorry, 2x plus 8y equals 1. And then we have minus 8x plus 2y equals minus 21. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply the top by 4. Okay, so that gives me 8x plus 32y equals 4, and minus 8x plus 2y equals minus 21. Okay, let's add the two together. This is gone, and then we have 34y equals minus 17. I divide by 34, y equals minus 17 over 34, and y is then minus 1/2. So for the center we now have the y value minus 1/2, and now I need to find the x. So I put the y in, we'll put it into the first equation here, up here, this one. Okay, so I 2x plus 8, so I have the y, it is minus 1/2, and this is now 1. And so let's multiply this out. 2x minus 4 equals 1. Bring the 4 over. 2x equals 1 plus 4, which is 5. We divide by 2, so x is 5 over 2. And now this is the x value of the center. Okay, so our center is of the circle is 5 minus 1, 5 over 2 minus 1 over 2. So 5 over 2 minus 1 over 2. So the center of our circle is here. Yeah, so the centers are 5 over 2 minus 1 over 2, about here. So I suppose we can try and draw our circle in with this center. So it would be, yeah, not great drawing. But what we need to do now is we need to calculate the radius. So we take our center and we take one of the points and we calculate the distance between the 2 points. And remember, we use our distance formula. D is x2 minus x1 all squared, y2 minus y1 all squared.